Welcome everybody in this Facebook Live program. I will connect now with the Facebook, so give me just a second to arrange this. And then we will start, okay? We are connected now with the Facebook. So welcome everybody who is joining us for this live class. Today, I will speak about a very interesting topic. And this topic is how to see opportunity in calamity. And through this, actually, I would like to speak about the power of association, because our association gives us a particular vision and the ability to perceive the world around us and the particular circumstances in which we find ourselves in a particular way. And I would share with you two stories, very interesting stories about different personalities, which illustrate two opposite kinds of the association and what is the effect of this association on our consciousness, on the vision that we have, and on our perception of life and the world around us. So I would like to start with the story of the Queen Kaikeyi. And this story is actually described in the Ramayana, and this is a true story. It is amazing, actually this is amazing drama that is described in the Ramayana. But I will not explain the entire story of Ramayana in this short class. I would just go straight to the excerpt where one could say one of the most dramatic scenes of Ramayana was in preparation. So without further ado, I will start. So Kaikeyi was the favorite queen of King Dasharat. And King Dasharat, he actually had many, many queens. And among them, there were 4 queens which were the most dear to him. And among all the queens, Kaikeyi was his absolute favorite queen. She was also the youngest and probably the most beautiful. And King Dasharat was extremely attached to her. And Kaikeyi was not only beautiful, but also she was kind-hearted, and she had a good character. She was a good queen, a good person. But then one day something happened which actually completely changed everything about her life, and also the life of the entire kingdom. So it was the day on which King Dasharat decided that he wants his eldest son, Rama, to be coronated as a king. And when he came about this decision, he wanted that coronation will take place already the next day, the very next day, the morning. And so everything was very, very fast. And the news spread around like fire. People, all the residents of the Ayodhya, which was the capital city, were overjoyed at the news that Rama will become a king, because everybody loved Prince Rama. As I was already explaining in my previous, some previous videos, King Rama, Prince Rama had amazingly beautiful and elevated qualities. He was actually, everybody loved him. Everybody loved him. He was so honest and caring and loving and he was always completely dedicated to truth and to serving others. He was selfless, and he had still many other most wonderful qualities. Among others, he was an exemplary leader as well. So practically everybody was completely overjoyed at the news of his coronation. But there was one person, and on that evening, that person was standing on the roof of the palace of Queen Kaikeyi. And that person was looking through her dark eyes and seeing the commotion underneath and excitement. And she didn't understand what is going on. Why are people so excited? Why is there so much celebration? Why? And then she asked one maid, what is happening? And the maid told her, oh, you don't know, Lord Ram is going to be coronated tomorrow morning. This is the best thing that can happen to us. We are so fortunate. Everybody was fortunate, except for this lady, this old henchbacked lady called Mantara. She was not happy. She became completely distressed at the news. Not only that, but she also became scared. Why? Because she was the servant of Queen Kaikeyi, and she was afraid that by Rama becoming a king, her queen Kaikeyi will lose some of her facility that she was enjoying as a favorite queen of King Dasharat. And together with the Queen Kaikeyi losing the facility, she will also be affected as her maid. So she decided immediately that she has to do something about it. So she ran downstairs, although in her old and hunchback body, it was so difficult. But nevertheless, she ran downstairs and jumped into the room where Queen Kaikeyi was already sleeping. And she woke her up, like screaming at her. How can you sleep? How can you sleep when there is such a calamity which will destroy your entire life and life of your son and life of your father? How can you sleep? And when Kaikeyi woke up, she was completely confused about what is my maid speaking about. And then the Mantara told her the news. Tomorrow, Prince Ram will be coronated and he will become the queen, the king. And Kaikeyi was overjoyed. She was so happy. This is so wonderful. My beautiful Ram. He's like my own son. I love him. He's the best of all princes. He's the most deserving. This is the best news I've ever heard. This was her initial reaction. But Mantara became even more upset when she saw this reaction. And then she started, no. How can you be so happy? How can you be so naive? You are not aware of what awaits you if Ram becomes king. And then she started explaining, You don't know that if Ram becomes king, then your son, Bharat, will become his servant forever. And you will also become subservient to Queen Kaushalya, mother of Prince Ram. You will lose all the benedictions that you are enjoying now. You will not be King Dasharatha's favorite anymore. You will not be the main queen anymore. Your life will just go downwards. You will just slide down into hellish condition. And she kept speaking like this and speaking against Ram, speaking how Ram just wants to take advantage and occupy the post of a king, although Bharat is actually the most qualified, Kaikeyi's son. And so she was speaking like this, and Kaikeyi, first, she was upset to hear this. And she said, if anyone else would say such words, I would punish him immediately. But you are so dear to me because you have served me for so long. And I cannot punish you, but please stop. I don't want to hear this anymore. But Manthara was relentless, and she continued. She continued just poisoning her mind until she reached her goal. Kaikeyi's mindset has turned around, and all of a sudden, she became anxious and fearful. Perhaps Manthara is right. And actually, she exclaimed, yes, you're right. Thank you so much for opening my eyes. Now I see what awaits me. Now I see what great misfortune is coming upon us. And we have to do something. Please advise me. You're so wise. Please help me. Tell me what to do. And this was exactly what Manthara was waiting for. And she told her, you know, many, many years ago, you saved King Dasharat. When there was a war, you saved his life, and he offered you 2 boons. And he would fulfill anything that you desired, but you did not have any desire at that time. And you requested him to wait for these boons when the time of need comes. So now I want to remind you of these 2 boons. Now you have to use these 2 boons to request the king first to make your son Bharat the king, and to send Prince Ram into an exile for 14 years. And Kaikeyi was, first she was shocked, but then she said, yes, yes, I have to do it. I have to do it. And Manthara urged her, you don't have any time. Time is running out. Tomorrow morning, coronation has to take place. So you have to do it immediately. And you first have to weaken the king's mind, because when you weaken his mind, he will be ready to do anything for you. So you have to go to that special room, the room of anger, the room of frustration, and you have to throw yourself on the floor in a really disheveled condition. And when the king comes and he asks you, what is happening? Don't speak, don't tell him anything, just sob, just cry, so that he becomes very weak. And then when you see that he is ready to do anything for you, then you remind him of those 2 boons and made your requests, and he will fulfill them. So Kaikeyi followed this advice, and she did exactly like this. And the rest is the history. What actually happened was that she was successful in obtaining these boons, and the king although against his will, but still he allowed Prince Ram to be sent into exile and Prince Bharat to be coronated as a king. So the entire destiny of the Ayodhya and the entire kingdom changed dramatically. And actually, at least for some time, it appeared like a great, great calamity. So now I would like to give like a short analysis. Here we can see a situation in which a wonderful, very festive and joyful occasion, a wonderful opportunity has turned into great calamity. Why? Because of the influence of bad association. Because Kaikeyi was listening to her maidservant Manthara, who completely poisoned her mind and completely influenced her with criticism and negativity into action, which actually later like indirectly caused even the death of the king Dasharat, because he actually died because of separation from his son Ram. So this is what happens. And we can also take this example into our own lives. Sometimes there may be some situation in our life which may be actually even positive or even very auspicious. But if we have bad association of people who are negative, of people who are critical, they can actually turn our vision also in a very negative vision. And we can actually become unable to see the positive and just start seeing the negative, and then make some big mistakes in our life and create misfortune for ourselves and for others. But of course, the whole purpose of this class is not to speak about negative things. Now I would like to just juxtapose this description with a positive association. And this is also one story, short story, which I would like to share. And this is a story of actually a small boy. And this is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, the ancient yoga textbook. This was Narada. This boy was named Narada. And he was actually a very poor boy. His mother was very, very poor. And he only had his mother. And he was a small boy, only 5 years old. But he had amazing opportunity to associate with great saintly personalities. And when he was associating with these great saintly personalities, he was listening to their speeches, to their conversations, and he was also serving them. And through this association, he actually acquired a different vision, a different perspective on life, a spiritual vision, actually a vision of the true reality as it is. And when a great tragedy actually happened in his life, great calamity, when his own mother was bitten by a snake and she died, this small boy had the ability to see in that situation a great opportunity. Although it was a calamity from the material perspective, he was able to employ the spiritual vision, and he could actually understand that this situation, when he is left completely alone in this world without anybody to protect him, he is actually having the opportunity to take a complete shelter of the Supreme Lord, and thus experience complete protection and be drawn to the Lord more and more to achieve the final perfection of divine love. So this was this amazing opportunity in the apparent calamity. And he was able to see this because of his association. So how does this relate to us? In the same way, as we are going through our life, especially all of us who are on the spiritual path, we meet different situations, we meet different events. And because this world is actually a world of calamities, we face many difficulties and many obstacles on our path. But these obstacles and these difficulties are actually meant to be opportunities for us, for our spiritual growth and spiritual advancement. And they actually strengthen one and really accelerate the spiritual advancement if a person has this proper vision and proper understanding. So I would like to conclude with one text from Srimad Bhagavatam, which actually illustrates this point of a great treasure of having a good association. And the verse goes like this. Tulyayama lavenapi na svargam na punah bhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashishaha. And this is verse in Sanskrit, and it means that just the moment association with a saintly person gives greater benefit than even attainment of heavenly planets or attainment of liberation from material existence. And what to even speak of material benefits of prosperity, which are actually meant for those who are about to die. So by just a moment of association with a saintly person, we can acquire this spiritual vision and be able to recognize opportunity even when our life and the events appear to us externally as a calamity. So I would like to thank all of you who are attending this live class. If there is any question, any comment, please, you can write in the, you can write it right now. And I may even answer if I am able to read it. Otherwise, I will answer it later on. So I will give you just a few moments to write the questions. Let's see if I see. Okay. Yes, I'm not able to see right now. So I will end now our class, and thank you very much again. And we'll see you again next week.